Hi guys. All right, there's some confetti for you. All right, thank you for watching this video. If you missed class or just wanted to catch up or review, so thank you. That confetti throw is for you. All right, so today is Thursday. It is the 21st. In math today, we started off with some practice problems on multi-step problems. So the first one we looked at, we are in volume 2, and this is on page 4. We jumped over to page 403 actually. And let me show you what the problem says here. So I already kind of wrote on it because we did this one in class together. So a firehouse pantry has 52 cans of vegetables, 74 cans of soup, and each shelf holds 9 cans. What's the least number of shelves needed for all the cans? So here again, that was page 403, and this is in section 11.4. So in that section there, these are problems where there's a lot going on. Like that problem had a lot of information. So what we've been modeling in class is taking that information and making sense of it, doing something that's going to help us organize and understand. Because I don't know about you, but I cannot solve a problem if I don't understand the story and I don't understand what it is that they're asking me for or anything like that. So I use strip diagrams. So the first thing it told me is that I have 52 cans of vegetables. So I'm going to make this bar here, and I am going to call it, oh yeah, my pen just broke. Hold on, let me rescue my pen. There we go. All right, let's see if this works. There it goes. All right, so these are the vegetables. So I'm just going to put veggies. All right, then I also know that there are 74 cans of soup. And the reason I'm going to put this a little bit bigger is because the value is bigger. And the reason I'm putting it side by side with the veggies is because when you look at the problem, there's my soup. When you look at the problem, it says that we're going to end up taking these cans and putting them on shelves, and we want to know how many of the cans we're going to put on each shelf. So there's a little bit of a hidden question in here where we have to go and find how many total cans we have. So when we combine these, 52 and 74, that's going to give us how many cans we have total. So this is going to be just cans in all. Okay, so our total number of cans in all. All right, so the reason why I know that I'm going to need that total and that's a hidden question in there that I need to solve is because when you think about it, you're going to take all of these cans and you're going to say, okay, 9 need to go here, 9 need to go here, 9 need to go here. Well, it's a little bit, if I combine the totals, then it's a little bit easier for me instead of taking out groups of 9 from 52 and then taking out groups of 9 from 74. So if I combine them first, then that's a little bit easier to do. So I'm going to add those together. We're combining. 2 and 4 is 6, and 5 and 7 is 12. All right, make sure you can see that. Alrighty, so 126, that is my total number of cans. Well, now I need to think, that's not my answer because remember, it's asking me how many total, what's the total number of cans that are going to be on a shelf. And so remember, this 126 is my total for the whole set of cans that I have. That's not how many are going on a shelf. So I really need to think about what this is going to start looking like. So over here, I'm just going to sketch this out. I know that in a problem where we've got totals of things and we're splitting them apart in all these different groups and things like that, there's always a group and there's always a number that goes in the group, okay? So multiplication problems and division problems, you have a group and you have the number that goes in each group. Okay, now I need to know what this is and how this is, or like how this is connected to my story. So if I go back to my story, remember, I've got a total number of cans, I have shelves, and I'm going to put the cans on the shelf. So what my group is, when I'm thinking about my group, I'm thinking, okay, the group is going to be getting something. So the thing in my story that is getting something is the shelf. So the shelf is the group. Then the number that goes in each group, that is the 9. So this 9 right here, there are going to be 9 cans that go in or go on the shelf. Okay, let me use my, we're talking about prepositions. Let me use my correct preposition. They're going on the shelf. Okay, so when I go to start building my strip diagram, and I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, okay, how am I going to draw this out? Some of us today started drawing 9 boxes on the bottom. Well, we don't have 9 shelves. The story didn't tell us how many shelves we have. What it did tell us is that one shelf is going to have 9 cans. Okay, so this box, this group right here stands for a shelf, and this 9 right here, this stands for how many cans go on, I keep saying, how many cans go on the shelf. So if I'm trying to find out how many shelves there are, I can think to myself, okay, I'm taking this total and I'm going to pull out a group of 9 cans. I'm going to take those cans and I'm going to say, okay, that can go on that shelf. And I'm going to take 9 more cans and I'm going to say, okay, that can go on the next shelf. And I'm going to take 9 more cans. And I'm going to say, okay, that's another shelf. Well, that's a lot of repeated subtraction. So instead of doing that and constantly taking out all these groups, I am going to come up with a plan. And my plan is going to be to divide 126 divided by 9, which equals something that I don't know yet, but I will find soon. So again, here's my total. Here is the number of cans on each shelf. And here is the number of shelves. Total, number in each group. I'm missing the number of groups. That's division, okay? Now I need to set up my problem. So I'm going to take 126 and I'm going to make my box. I'm going to put that 9 on the outside. All right, so now I am going to start with my division. And over here, I'm thinking about groups of 9. I'll put my little multiplication symbol there to help me. And over here on the side, I'm going to think about some groups of 9. So one group would be 9, 2 would be 18, 3. If I do 9 times 3, that's 27. 9 times 4 is 36. 9 times 5 is 45. All right, so I've got all of these groups of 9 here, and now I'm ready to divide. If I need more groups, I can always go grab more, but I think that'll be good. All right, so let's look at our first box. We're going to start here on the left. I have 1, okay, 1. If I have 1 of something, can I make a group of 9? The answer is no. I can make 0 groups of 9. Then I'm going to multiply to see what I have left over. So 0 times 9 is 0. I subtract. 1 minus 0 is 1. There's the 1 that I wasn't able to make a group with. Now, this 1 that I didn't make a group with, I'm going to regroup it, and I'm going to bring it over to my middle box. Now, I'm going to ask myself, if I have 12, how many groups of 9 can I make? Well, if I come over here to my groups, 12, I don't want you writing, if it's more than 10, that's too many dots. Come over here to your list. You find 12 right in between 9 and 18. So I can't make 2 groups of 9 because that's too many. I don't have 18, I only have 12. I have to stop right here at 1 group. So 1. Then I multiply. 1 times 9 is 9. Subtract to see what's left over. So picture in your head you've got 12 jelly beans. You circle 9 of them. There's going to be some left over because you started with 12. So 9, count on 10, 11, 12. That's 3. Those 3 were left over, so they need to come to the next box. Regroup them over there. And now we've got 36. Well, 36 is one of my numbers, so that's 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups, 4 groups. So 4 groups goes on top. 4 times 9 is 36. And there are no remainders because it was perfectly 4 groups. There was nothing extra. So when I go back here, my answer, 14, is how many number of shelves that I need. But I want to make sure that I divided correctly. So I'm not done just yet. I'm going to take the 14 and I'm going to multiply it by 9. So 14 times 9. 14, I need to break it down. 10 plus 4, those are some prettier numbers, times 9. 10 times 9 is 90. 4 times 9 is 36. I'm going to take those partial products, add them up. 0 and 6 is 6. 9, 10, 11, 12. Not subtracting, we're adding. And I get 126. So because that matched what I started with, I know that that is a correct answer. So when it says how many shelves do they need, we need 14 shelves to fit all 126 of those total cans that we started with. And the reason I know that I need 14 is there were no remainders. They all fit perfectly on a shelf. So on every single one of my shelves, all 14 shelves, each one was able to have 9 cans. Okay, and then it keeps going. There's 14 of those shelves, and every single one is all the way filled up. There's no extras. Alrighty, so that was our problem that we did in math today. So hope that helps with just modeling how I break down a problem and understand those that are very meaty and just full of information. All right, next up, we went to reading. In reading today, we continued talking about author's purpose, and we went to Seesaw, and we talked about how we understand author's purpose versus the topic. So if you go here, and we went to page, let's see, did we start here? Yep, we started on page 5. All right, so authors, the topic of the paper versus author's purpose. So first, we just kind of had a little chat about what is a topic and what is author's purpose. So yesterday, we started talking about author's purpose, and we said that the reason an author writes is called author's purpose. We said that authors write for many different reasons, but they can be organized into 3 main categories. They might be trying to persuade you to do something, inform you of something, or entertain you. So a topic, we said, is just like what the story is about. So if you're reading a story about, excuse me, if you're reading a story about penguins, and it's telling all about the life of a penguin and where penguins live and what they eat and their babies and this and that and all things penguin, you know the topic is penguins. So today we're going to talk about the differences between topic and author's purpose, and we're going to use 3 different text examples to look at to do that. So again, topic, we're looking at what most of the text, like if you look at the whole text from A, B, C, all the way throughout, what is it mostly about? So in order to get some, like how you find that, it's usually really fast. So you can look at the title, you can look at the pictures, you can, usually within a first few pages, you have already found out, okay, this is what this story is going to be about. Author's purpose, on the other hand, you got to go a little bit deeper. So you need to read to get information about and you're thinking, are they trying to persuade me, inform me, entertain me of something? What is their purpose for writing this? So sometimes people confuse topic with author purpose. So we looked at these examples. So the first thing that we did is we looked at these three stories, and right away we found the topic, because the topic is very clear. Just looking at these titles: pigs, pigs, pigs. So I see pigs, I read pigs, it's all about pigs. So I know the topic of these is going to be about pigs. But again, that author's purpose is a little bit hidden. We need to dig a little bit deeper. So we broke off into groups, and we decided that this first book right here, they headed over to Epic, and this was an audiobook that they listened to. And it started giving them all kinds of facts about pigs: how they live, what they eat, what they look like, all things about pigs. So we decided that one was right here. They were trying to inform us about our pigs. Then the next book, Breakout Room 2, they went and they read, or they listened to, The Three Little Pigs. Now, this one is just a fictional story, and it's just a fun story about how a big bad wolf comes and blows down these houses and gobbles up these pigs. And it's just a fun, humorous story. And we said that that was to entertain us. Then the last group, they read The True Story of the Three Little Pigs. So this book here, while it was entertaining, so we kind of had a little bit of a discussion about this because it is a very entertaining book. It's funny, it's enjoyable to read, but if you really read through the whole thing, the big bad wolf is trying to convince you that he's actually not bad. He's just got allergies. He's got the sniffles, so it's not his fault. He didn't blow down any houses. He was just sneezing. So, he can't help that he's got these seasonal allergies. So, he was trying to persuade us that, hey, I'm not a bad guy. I'm just a wolf. They eat pigs. That's just what we do. Just like, if we saw a hamburger lying around and we're hungry, we might grab it and we might eat it, just like he did with the pigs. So the whole time, even though it's done in a funny way, the whole time he's trying to convince us that he's not actually really bad. So they headed over, they talked about that, we put the topic, we took these and we slid them under where they go. And tomorrow we'll start with page 8. So after that, their independent work was, I didn't talk about the math independent work. Let me back up right here. All right, math independent work. You might have thought there was none. Ha ha ha. Just kidding. All right. That was our lesson. Oh, excuse me. This is your independent work. So, page 8, you have a problem and it breaks it down for you. On the A part, you're going to draw the diagram. On B, you're writing the equation. So each letter has a step for you to do to help break down those, because these are multi-steps, and you get your answer down there. Then a couple questions about, something else you could have done to solve this. We know that problems, we don't just solve problems one way. There's different ways to approach problems, so we can have other ways to solve them. And then it changes the numbers a bit and asks what would happen. So that was your independent work for Thursday. And then we stopped here because tomorrow, that one is for Friday. So just those couple pages there. And then, okay, so let's go back to reading independent. So if you are in the Gossip Monster, you should be wrapping up. You should have your story recorded and read. And if, let's see, we did Tuesday, Wednesday. All right, so Tuesday we made predictions. Wednesday, we made some revisions to our predictions. You were asked to go back and say, okay, you read a little bit. Were any of your predictions, were any of them, did they change? Any of your thinking change as you got more information? And then today, we confirmed our information. So you've now read more. Okay, was your prediction correct? If not, what actually is happening? So you should finish up your story today. And then we went over here, and we didn't get to this yesterday, so we talked about it today, this cause and effect. So this was an example, and the whole purpose of this cause and effect little mini lesson here is to show you that sometimes cause and effect can cause other things to happen, and it's like this domino effect. So something happens, there's an effect, but it doesn't just stop there. Sometimes that those dominoes, they keep falling. And so here's a little story. If I lost my library book, okay, the librarian might make me pay for the book. If I have to pay for the book, I'll have to take money out of my savings. If I take money out of my savings, I won't have enough to buy the new shoes I've been saving money for. So here, I lost my library book. That's my cause. What did that cause me to do? What was the effect of that? I had to pay the librarian money. Well, I don't have money to pay her. So what was the cause? The new cause is I can't talk. That caused me, sorry, to take money out of my savings. What was the effect of that? I don't have enough money now to buy shoes. So in the story, you also have this domino effect where the little girl in the story, she does something and it causes something to happen. And then that leads to something else, which causes something to happen. So you have this, how all these are kind of connected. And so start up here at the top with the event that happened at the beginning of your story in Gossip Monster, write what the effect was of it, and then look what comes after to show that kind of just kept, that kept going. So we did that today. And like I said, if you go to your schedule, you should finish up reading today because we have the questions tomorrow. So that was for the group that's reading The Gossip Monster. The group that is reading and has assigned The Wizard of Oz. You guys, again, same thing. You are recording yourself reading, and you should be up to page 11 today. So you should have that finished up with your recording, and then you were asked to do some research about the author's life. So you clicked on the links, and you got some information about his life that you were either adding into my pages or you were making your own. The thing that we talked about today is with this, you do not, and you, it's there's it's called plagiarism. It's not a very nice thing to do, is to take someone's work and call it your own. And so if somebody, someone took a lot of time to put this book together, they had to write it, someone had to illustrate it, they did a whole lot of work. So if you just, quickly snip their work and you put your name on it and you count it as your own, that's taking credit for someone else's hard work. That's called plagiarism. So we want to make sure that we're not doing that, that we're, writing things in our own words. So can you read that book and get information? Of course. Are you going to write it the exact same way or take a picture of the page? No. You need to take that information and make it your own. So they may talk about his childhood. They're going to say it a certain way. You can give the same information, but just change the way you say it. Make it your own. Put your own input into it. All right. So then you have these if you wanted, and so on. The next thing we talked about is the timeline. So we don't always see timelines that are vertical. So we stopped and we talked about this one. So we decided that the top up here is going to be when he was born. And then as we go down, this is when he dies. So this whole middle part right here, one of our students recognized that there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces here. And so he kind of thought about this like a number line where each one of these is about 20 years. So from here to here would be about 20. At this dot, he would be 40. At this dot, he would be 60. This dot, he would be 80. And then let's say he lives to 100, 100. So you can put some events that happen throughout his life, start with his early childhood, and then get up to where he starts his career as an author and some of his accomplishments and things that have happened in his life. So you can add your information there with the Seesaw tools. Then we did that for reading. We read our story, and then all right, writing. What is going on? Something's wrong with my lines. That's weird. Huh. I don't know why that line's there. Okay, ignore that line. I don't know where that came from. It's all highlighted and everything. All right, I'll have to mess with that later. Maybe I fixed it. Or maybe I made it worse. I don't know. Nope. All right, so today we looked at our composition. So let me go back to Seesaw and let me go find writing. There we are. All right, so, nope, wrong week. Week 20 is what I need. Oh, there I go. I didn't go up high enough. All right, week 20 writing. All right, so with our prepositions today, we didn't have time to play this. So if you go here, if you want to try it, it's just a random list of prepositions. So it was just a game. You can play this with your family if you'd like, but your family comes up, your group comes up with a buzzword. So for example, before someone uses the word in a sentence, you have to moo like a cow, or maybe you have to jump up and down, or maybe you have to honk your nose, or who knows, you come up with whatever that buzzword or action is. Then when you click on this, it takes you to a website and it gives you random lists of prepositions. So you're going to put those into a sentence, and the first person that does the buzzword, they are the ones that get the point. So if they use the preposition in a sentence correctly. All right, so then we went to here. So we've been working on this prompt now for 2 weeks, so they're looking really good. We've been making our paragraphs a lot stronger. So we're writing about someone who has made the world a better place. We're explaining why we think that person is important. So here we are on page 11. So here I took those facts and I am on my second reason why he's important. So my other paragraph said one reason he's important is because, and I went on and I shared about that. Okay, you can watch yesterday's video about that. Today, I'm giving another reason. So another reason Martin Luther King Jr. is important to me is because he sets a good example that we can make change peacefully. In his speeches, he spoke against violence and harm to others. Even as protesters were attacked by dogs, tear gassed, and sprayed with hoses, he still continued to lead by example. This has taught me that I can still make my voice heard without harming others. These actions earned him the title as the youngest recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964 when he was only 35 years old. So that was my fact that I had learned. I didn't know that he was the youngest at that time to ever receive one. So that was me adding that in there just to make my paragraph a little bit stronger, a lot stronger actually. And so again, you want to give your reason. You're talking about, if you go back to the very beginning here, you're explaining why you think that person is important. And the key part is you are explaining why they're important. Okay, let me go back one more time. um, you're writing about, like, this is why you think, that was what I was trying to say. So why you think that person is important. I think I said it wrong. So why I think I can't just say, oh, he's important because he modeled protesting peacefully, and he modeled staying calm when everybody around, like, you just want to scream. Like, he stayed very calm, and he still continued to speak the truth about love and kindness and acceptance, and all of these things that he preached about. Those were all done very peacefully. And so, if I just say that, I'm not making a personal connection to why that's important to me. And so when I put in here, this has taught me that I can still make my voice heard without harming others. That's me connecting myself to why he's important. He's important because this is what he taught, like, he taught me something. Okay, so make sure when you're writing your paragraphs, you're giving your reasons, and everything that's on this page right here in the orange, they're all tied together in that one paragraph, and they're explaining what you're trying to explain here. So they're explaining why he's important. All right, so you guys needed to go fill in page 12. So you're taking your reason and you're feeding it. You're giving it facts. You're giving it all those things. If you flip back, facts, examples, experiences, details, all of these things. I'm modeling facts this week, but any of these things are great things that you can add to really feed those paragraphs and make them stronger, and make them really to where your readers can understand what you are trying to say. Okay? All right, next up for science. All right, so after lunch and recess, we came back and we started talking about shadows. Now, for shadows, we had to scratch our lesson completely because it is very yucky outside and kind of misty and wet and yucky. So we kind of did what we were going to do outside on paper. So titled it Shadows. We put a big cross in the middle, separated this into 4 sections, and we have our person standing here on this hill. Here's the horizon. So the sun is rising in the east, and our sun is throughout the day. It's going to look like it's traveling, but it's actually not traveling. We're the ones. And so we're the ones that are moving. So we talked about that. And we talked about how what a shadow is when the light is blocked. Spell it right. Blocked. All right, that's an E. All right, so if I shine, if I stand behind you, um, and let's see, let me find something. I've been finding all kinds of random things on my desk to use. All right, let me just grab this paper. All right, so here's a piece of paper. If this paper is like, I can't shine, like, if I shined a light on this, nothing would go through, right? The light would be blocked. Okay, so like right now, I've got the paper under the light, and there's a shadow. You can't see it, but there's a shadow formed underneath because the paper blocked the light. There's no light going and traveling through. So if you have, if like the paper or a person and that light is being blocked because it can't go through it, then you get this shadow created. So the sun and the shadow are on opposite sides because the sun, those rays are shining, they're hitting you, your body is blocking the light to come through, and you get this shadow created. Now, when the sun is low, so oh my goodness, I can't spell today. When the sun is low, the shadow is very long. Okay, so I kind of remember they kind of sound opposite. Low shadow, low sun, long shadow. Higher sun, shorter shadow. So this all has to do with the angle at which it's hitting you. And so the sun here shining on you, and it's not hitting as much of your body, so not as much is blocked, so you get a shorter shadow. Now at noon, remember we talked about how the sun looks like it's traveling. So at noon, you go outside around lunch recess time at right around 12. This is when the shadow is at its shortest. Okay, it's not very long at all like you saw in the morning. It is very, very short. The sun is directly over your head. So if you look up in the sky, you would be able to see the sun just right above your head. And you would get this very small little shadow by your feet here because not, it's hitting your head. So there's not much blocked. So when the shadow is the shortest, that's at noontime. Now, here we go. The sun's now on the opposite side, setting. Again, the sun is low, so the shadow is very long. Okay, low sun. It looks like it's right there on the horizon, and the shadows are long. All right, so we took notes on that. So go ahead and make sure you have this. I just did this on construction paper, and I'm going to put it in my notebook, or you could just do it straight in your notebook, either one. And then tomorrow, all right, so tomorrow we're going to make our foil model. So make sure you have your aluminum foil, make sure you have your white paper, it needs to be clear, and make sure that you have your flashlight. Make sure you check it, that batteries are good to go. We don't want to be spending our whole time. It's going to take us a while to make the models, so we don't want to spend our whole time going on a hunt for batteries and where's my flashlight and where's this and where's that. We want to make sure that's all set to go. So make sure you get that together tonight. In social studies, we did Thursday's page. You can click this link here. And we also made our own flag and uploaded those into Seesaw. So in activities, go down, week 20, social studies, upload your flag here. We've been talking about the 6 flags that have that Texas has seen, and we talked about how things that if we were going to be in charge of designing a flag, whether it's for the state or the country, what flag, what kind of things would be important to be represented on our flag, and so students uploaded those there. Then in intervention time, we did some practice with some problems for math, and that was our day. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I will see you tomorrow for Friday. All right, bye, guys.